things in pro wrestling that we look at and we take for granted. Everything that we see on TV, we take for granted. Everything that we see on TV, we think we know everything. Whether it's someone winning, someone losing, predicting where the storyline is going to go, and we read up on the dirt sheets and follow the news and rumors every week, and we hear the opinions of everybody in the community. Everybody's quick to judge. Everybody is just quick to guess what's going to happen. The majority of the time, we end up guessing what is going to happen on TV. From storylines to matches that are going to be booked 3 months from now, feuds that are just starting, down to the very nature of the match itself. Depending on who's in the ring, we can call matches and call moves before those moves even happen. There's no sense of unpredictability anymore. But when we see that unpredictability, which in my eyes, in my opinion, is a lost art in pro wrestling. When we see that unpredictability, it is so appreciated. It is one of the finest things. It's like sipping a fine glass of wine that's been aged for years. It's one of those things where we see it happen right before our eyes, and we remember why we love pro wrestling so much. That's the feeling I got watching NXT last night. That's the feeling I got watching what I thought was the best 30 minutes to close out an NXT episode in 2019. Not only did we get the best triple threat match of the entire year in any promotion, we got a heel turn that literally came out of nowhere. We got a heel turn by Finn Balor that was unpredictable. Nobody predicted Finn Balor would turn heel. Nobody expected him in NXT to be what we wanted him to be on the main roster. Again, I have to ask, and I kind of know the answer to it because it's Triple H, and he just gets it. He just gets it. How Finn Balor looked much better on last night's show than in the entire 3 years he's been on the main roster. I don't get it. I do get it. Triple H is not messing around. I mentioned last week, that I did not feel. I wasn't feeling the 2-hour format of NXT just yet. It was still a work in progress as far as my viewing of NXT goes. I might have jumped the gun on that. Now, a lot of you actually agreed with me that the spark of NXT was somehow lost in all this AEW hype and with WWE putting NXT in a position to compete with AEW. The spark of NXT at 1 hour was lost in the 2-hour format. The 2-hour format has its positives. Don't get me wrong. It has its positives. Everything from Dominik, Dijakovic, and Keith Lee getting opportunities that were not available to them in the 1-hour format. Multiple women's storylines happening on TV right now, which I will talk about here on the show. And something that I got a thought of when watching the women on NXT last night. Multiple women's storylines going on NXT every single week. We got Finn Balor showing up on NXT. We got Undisputed Era, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. We're seeing guys like Isaiah Scott. We're seeing guys like Angel Garza. We're seeing guys like Grimes. It is a positive to see all that stuff. But what I mentioned last week was that the 2-hour format, especially in the last 2 weeks, was not doing the show any justice. I felt like at the 1-hour format, a lot of what you've seen in the 1-hour format was much more, I would say, focused on. There was a lot more importance coming out of the 1-hour show, where the 2-hour shows, yes, you got some important stuff happening, but a lot of it was just filler to fill TV time for 2 hours on USA Network. But if NXT continues to do shows like they did last night, if this is NXT every single week, I'll be okay with the 2-hour format. There was just something last night that brought me back to a feeling of, there's that spark. There it is. I don't know what happened in the last 2 weeks. Maybe Triple H is just a patient genius. Maybe he was like, don't worry, I got you guys. I know how you feeling. Just wait. Everything good that happens in life comes to those who wait. I loved last night's show. I thought last night's show was fucking awesome. The 2-hour format finally got across what it needs to get across. That was a perfect show last night. Everything on that show mattered. Everything on that show flowed beautifully. Like I said, up until the last 30 minutes, where they just kicked it into NXT gear. They delivered the quality that you know and expect from this brand. That last 30 minutes, coupled with Finn Balor not yet joining the Undisputed Era, but turning heel on Johnny Gargano, which I think is brilliant. That was the best 30 minutes of NXT all year. And we're going to go over it and why I think Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano going forward for WarGames is absolutely brilliant, man. I love it. Can't wait to talk about it. Thank you guys so very much for joining me right here on NXT Off the Script for last night's show, October 23rd, 2019. If you guys missed my AEW Dynamite review where they delivered themselves the best episode of Dynamite so far, make sure you guys go and check my review. That is linked down below in the description of this very video, along with Off the Script Elite on Tuesday, your number one destination for all AEW news and rumors right here on the channel, and Monday Night Raw. A distant memory. A distant memory is Monday Night Raw. After last night, with the great wrestling that we got, man, the bad taste of Monday Night Raw is now vanquished from my mouth. So if you guys want to go and watch what people are saying is the funniest Monday Night Raw podcast of the entire year, go and check out all the videos that you might have missed this week down in the description, and there's more yet to come. We got NXT today, we got SmackDown tomorrow, and we got Off the Script this week, and man, the work never stops. Thank you guys for making October the best month possible out of the entire year in 2019. I owe it to you guys. Thank you so very much. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Become a part of Team JD and hit that bell. Turn on that bell for all notifications as well so you guys are notified when I go live and upload right here on the channel. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys know what to do. Link is down below. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And the podcast today is brought to you by Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys are going to get 30 days free of Audible service, including one free audiobook of your choice. Best part is, when you guys sign up for Audible, you're going to get the 30 days free of their service, one free audiobook. But if you just want to sign up to support the podcast and support what I do here on the channel, you guys can cancel any time in that 30 days and still get to keep your audiobook for free. You will not be billed at all. You have over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which you see right there on the screen. Guys, support the podcast. Support my friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. One of the things that I mentioned in the beginning that I found to be a positive in the 2-hour format of NXT was the simple fact that there are multiple women's storylines going on at the same time. Something that WWE on the main roster should really focus on and give us, and actually have them make sense and have them have meaning. They don't seem to do that at all, ever. They always push the same women all the time. Title matches being given out for no reason. It's always the same faces every single week. Always the same matches every single week. No variation. I love the fact that we're seeing Rhea Ripley. I love the fact that we're seeing Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Io Shirai, Teagon Knox, Shayna Baszler, and the Horsewomen. I love the fact that we're seeing Dakota Kai. All of these women have been given meaning on NXT, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Not only are you seeing what I think is the deepest women's division in all of North America, that's including Ring of Honor, that's including MLW, that's including AEW, that's including Impact, and the main roster. Women's wrestling is still as popular as it was. And there is a big focus on women's wrestling. And WWE seems to have always gotten it right in NXT. That is the same way in 2019. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair are two future pieces of what I think is a very bright future for women's wrestling in all of WWE. It's tough to get invested completely because we all know that when they make the jump from NXT and go to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, that someone like Rhea Ripley, someone like Bianca Belair, because they're not blonde and they're not big-breasted and they don't have long legs and they're not blonde, emphasis on blonde, and they don't look like a Barbie doll, that they go nowhere. They dump you in some bin somewhere and they leave you to rot in catering. It's disgusting. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair, someone like that, how you look at someone like that who's got 3 years of experience under her belt and then not utilize her. When she's this good now, imagine how good she's going to be another 3 years from now. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Rhea Ripley's come a long way as well. She's been doing this for 6 years, Morrow said. She transformed herself. Look at what she's transformed herself into. She looks fantastic. That is the type of female athlete. That is the type of women's wrestler I want to see. I love both of these women. I love the entire roster. And we're not even talking about the addition of a possible Toni Storm to this overall division. I don't even think Toni Storm's needed at this point. She's just going to be the cherry on top of this great sundae that NXT is constructed. This match was, yes, a momentum builder to see who gets Shayna Baszler next. It was teased, and WWE seems to be going in that direction. Rhea Ripley shows up on the scene, calls out Shayna Baszler, and I think everybody would like to see a legitimate showdown between someone who is intense in Shayna Baszler and someone who is just as intense and can match Shayna's intensity in Rhea Ripley. This match set the tone for that. I don't think we're getting it yet. I don't think we are getting it yet. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I do think that this is the very best that Triple H can do if you want to talk WarGames. Every single direction, every single aspect of what's going on right here on NXT TV is leading towards not a men's WarGames match. Every single thing that we're seeing is leading towards a women's WarGames match. WWE loves their first evers. WWE loves being and boasting about, oh, we did it the first. We did this first. We did that first. The first time ever for this. It's just a nauseating selling point for them. It's the best way for me to put it. But if it's done right in this world, if it's done right in NXT, there is no better women's division than the NXT women's division to put into that WarGames match. Now, with what happened on the show later on in the evening, Teagon Knox and Dakota Kai beat the Horsewomen, Marina Shafir and Jessamyn Duke, in a number one contenders match, which I'm not a real big fan of. I'm not a real big fan of the NXT Tag Team Women's Championships, but number one contenders match. And then on the big screen after Teagon Knox and Dakota Kai won, there we seen Asuka. And there we seen Kairi Sane, who is kind of morphing into a less evil version of Asuka. She's got the face paint on. They're ready to go to war. They're the women's tag team champions. So we got this match next week. If you really want to make this WarGames match that I think is going to happen at WarGames with the women, you got to do it right. You got to put your best foot forward. You got to put your best talent in there to shine. No Jessamyn Duke, no Marina Shafir. Leave those women at the PC. They obviously still need it. You're looking at what happened here in this match. Rhea Ripley beats Bianca Belair. Both women want a shot at Shayna Baszler. Io Shirai interjected herself in this match with a 619 on Rhea Ripley to help Bianca Belair win this match. Though it failed, Rhea Ripley got the riptide on Bianca and she went on to be victorious in this match. Out came Candice LeRae to help Rhea Ripley. So Candice LeRae and Io Shirai still have differences that they need to fix and just get out. I think all 4 of these women are going to play a vital role in this WarGames match that I think is going to happen. Now, you mix that with what's happening next week and Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox getting a tag team title match against Asuka and Kairi Sane. I don't think it's going to end up being a title change. There's no reason for it to. But I honestly do think that something's going to happen there where Asuka is going to make her grand return to NXT, and we're going to see Asuka as intense as we've ever seen Asuka. And Kairi Sane's going to be there to be the recipient of that as well. Yeah, they're going to be received with a warm welcome because we all want Asuka back at Full Sail University. This is where she thrived. But this is not the same Asuka. The main roster has changed Asuka. The main roster has made Asuka evil. She is now poisoned by the main roster. Same way we seen with Finn Balor tonight. I think we got to see the same thing with Asuka. Now, whatever that means, I don't know. But what I'm thinking of as far as the WarGames match is this. I'm thinking Rhea Ripley. I'm thinking Candice LeRae. I am thinking Teagon Nox, and I'm thinking Dakota Kai on one team. On the other team, I'm thinking Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. 4-on-4 WarGames. First time ever, NXT's women go inside the demonic structure. It looks like it's heading in that direction because as far as what we see right now with the Undisputed Era, they are the kings of WarGames. They have no opponents. They have no opponents. I thought that we might be headed towards that way, but my goodness, with what happened at the end of this show, the Undisputed Era seem to be the kings of NXT, never mind WarGames. They have no opponents. There's nobody on that roster that's going to step up to the Undisputed Era after what happened on this show. The women are going to be in WarGames. That is my prediction. That is the way I see it. That's the way I would book it. This match set that up. This match really gave me the light bulb that went off in my head. This is where they could possibly be going. I didn't really give it a thought when people were, maybe they do a WarGames women's match. People have been mentioning it for the last 2 weeks. I'm like, I don't want to see that. Who wants to see that? You're going to put these women in a WarGames match? You're going to let them go out there and it's going to really live up to the WarGames concept? I don't think so. Now I'm thinking about it. If you put the right people in there who have been void of an opportunity, you put them in this to really get it out there that, bro, this is what you're missing. You get all 8 of these women in that match, forget about it, man. You might have a fucking classic on your hands. I think that's where they go. That's the way I would book it. Rhea Ripley wins with the help of Candice LeRae. Io Shirai tried to help Bianca to a failure of an attempt right there. Rhea Ripley wins, and she gets the riptide on Bianca Belair. WarGames is coming soon. The women will be in WarGames. Kathy Kelly spoke to Pete Dunne after his loss against Damian Priest. He was with Tyler Bate. I gotta admit, man, Tyler Bates' beard is reaching epic levels. And I'm slightly jealous. I wish I could grow a beard like that. I always get to a point where I just say, you know what, screw it, I gotta shave. I can't do it. I can't do more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because it starts to itch and then I don't feel the same. I gotta have it as I have it now. Thin and trimmed, but his beard looks just majestic, I have to admit. Bates started to say Dunne was alone against 2, but Dunne said there were no excuses and there was a receipt coming. He says he didn't care about Killian Dane when he was asked about Killian Dane as well, and he and Bate just said, screw it. They acted as if they didn't care. So he said, Damian Priest did what he had to do to win. It is what it is. Then Kathy Kelly asked him about Killian Dane. I don't give a shit about Killian Dane. And that's Pete Dunne's attitude. You gotta love it. We've seen a Tommaso Ciampa vignette. He was talking about his frustrations and depression of being taken from his career via injury. He said if it was up to him, it's his legacy. It's just getting started all over again. And obviously we all know why he's back. He's back for the title that he never lost. And I think that we are going to be in for a wild ride on Tommaso Ciampa getting that championship back on NXT. Tyler Bate was shown at ringside. We just seen him interview with Pete Dunne, and he was standing front row for what I thought was a great match between Matt Riddle and Cameron Grimes. Matt Riddle came over and he gives everybody a fist pound, and he's seen Tyler Bate there. He gave him one. That wasn't the last time we seen Tyler Bate in the audience during this match. But Matt Riddle versus Cameron Grimes, man, this one went almost 12 minutes. This was fantastic stuff. And Matt Riddle, I have to say this about Matt Riddle. A, Seth Rollins is a clown because he mentioned something about Matt Riddle and he said Matt Riddle's a loser or he's not that great. Meanwhile, out of everybody that you're watching right now on television here in the United States, Matt Riddle is putting on, including Adam Cole, and Johnny Gargano has been kind of inactive for a little bit. Matt Riddle has been putting on the best quality matches in all of pro wrestling for the last couple of months. Probably dating back to NXT TakeOver 25 and his great match with Roderick Strong. Matt Riddle always goes in there and the match is just fucking great. You know what you're getting when you're getting a Matt Riddle match. He is trending in that territory where you know you're going to get a 4-star plus match. He is delivering the best quality wrestling right now out of anybody in any promotion. That is my opinion on Matt Riddle. Cameron Grimes. I never got Cameron Grimes in the way they've started to book him. The quick victories, the Baron Corbin NXT-esque quick victories. I never got it because I don't look at Cameron Grimes and see, yeah, that's a guy that's going to go out there and win in about 6 seconds. Now, I love the fact that they're bringing him along. I love the fact that he's getting somewhat of an identity. I love the fact that he is undefeated, but how long can someone be undefeated? And I knew going into this match that they weren't going to let him walk out of this match with Matt Riddle undefeated. So I'm glad that we got Cameron Grimes losing here to Matt Riddle because now he has that big fucking just issue. Issue is the best way for me to put it. Issue, because you're always going to run into an issue creatively when someone is undefeated. It's always some big fucking question mark. It's always some big, what if, and it's always a big creative dent. So the fact that he's not undefeated anymore, I don't mind. I don't mind, because I never looked at him as that type of guy anyway. But the simple fact that he lost to Matt Riddle, he doesn't feel like a loser because he stood toe-to-toe with the one guy in the entire fucking NXT brand that is delivering the best matches right now. This was awesome. And Riddle, his offense is so explosive, man. He has just a wide variety of moves, and every time Matt Riddle goes into one of his modes, he hits everything back to back to back. It's just a constant, consecutive fucking string of maneuvers where you're like, oh my goodness, man, and the crowd eats it up. It's some of the best stuff in any match that you'll watch. I'm telling you, man, Matt Riddle is awesome. Ripcord knee, bro to sleep, German, 2 count. Grimes crawled to the ropes, Riddle chased him down, hit another senton. Grimes kicked out, he got hit with a punt kick. Grimes took down Riddle with a huge slam. Grimes went up top, Riddle charged with a flying forearm. Then he went up and hit a superplex. Riddle sold the frustration. He went up, floating bro, but Grimes got the knees up. Both guys reversed power bombs, final flash knee by Riddle, and a hard knee by Grimes. NXT chants ringing out in Full Sail. They love this shit. Final flash, bro Derek. That was it. Matt Riddle wins in about 12 minutes. And if this is a feud that is going to be an ongoing thing, if we're going to revisit this down the line, I'll be fine with that, man, because what these two guys did was fucking fantastic on NXT. After the match was over, we had Cameron Grimes go out by ringside. He took his hat, and he seen Tyler Bate sitting front row. So Tyler Bate was standing there. Matt Riddle went over to Cameron Grimes to go give him a handshake out of respect for the match. Cameron Grimes was like, get out of here, man. I don't want your handshake. I don't want to see you. Get out of my face. So Tyler Bate was talking trash to him behind the guardrail, and Cameron Grimes shoved Tyler Bate, grabbed his hat, went to go back to Tyler Bate to talk some more trash, and then he got nailed with a huge left hook. Bop and bang. Goodbye. Knocked him out. So now we got a match next week that Grimes and Tyler Bate will go one-on-one, and I'm looking forward to that. Because the last time that we seen Tyler Bate in a huge match was against Walter at NXT TakeOver in Cardiff. And to see Tyler Bate back on NXT here in the States is going to be a great thing, man, because I think he is absolutely phenomenal. And the match that Grimes had with Riddle, I think he can duplicate that and do the same thing with Tyler Bate next week. We got Breezango and the Forgotten Sons. Now, this was supposed to be Kushida against the Forgotten Sons teaming with Breezango. So, we had the Sons take on Breezango with a surprise partner. Nigel reminded us that Kushida is still out with injury. He'll be out about a month. He'll be back better than ever. So we got Breezango and a mystery partner, which was revealed as Isaiah Swerve Scott against the Forgotten Sons. Breezango looks to be going on with the themed entrances on NXT, which this one made me laugh because I didn't know who. I actually thought this was Dakota Kai and Teagon Knox for whatever reason. I don't know. Because I seen two females standing out there. I'm like, this got to be Dakota Kai and Teagon Knox. So then we seen them with those air traffic lights. And then we got Breezango coming out on the stage. And they're dressed in bomber jackets. And they have an air traffic controller entrance for themselves on NXT. So I love the creativity. I love the authentic feel of their entrance. And if they could do this and make it feel different every single time, I'm for it. It does still kind of linger main roster. So if they could wipe that main roster feel away, because when I see them like this, I just get a sense of what they were like on the main roster. If they can make it something into their own on NXT, I think I'll be on board. Isaiah Swerve Scott was introduced as the surprise partner, and he got a great reaction from Full Sail University. And Breezango here was on the receiving end of the Forgotten Sons. This one was fun. I don't get the Forgotten Sons because sometimes when I watch the Forgotten Sons, they're boring and they don't really generate any interest as far as I'm concerned. But in matches like this, they really feel right, you know? Those 6-man tags. Everything felt right here. Everything felt fun in this match. So Scott and Blake traded blows. Inverted atomic drop by Blake. Tagged in Cutler. Swerve threw them into one another. Flatliner for Cutler, which was great by Scott. All three Sons are now on the outside. Swerve went up. And now Riker, who is legal, followed right behind. Riker went for a superplex to the outside. That was blocked. Now, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Every time someone teases that, you kind of know it's not going to happen. So Swerve blocked his superplex attempt. Riker landed on the apron. He was facing the crowd. He was facing the aisleway. Scott jumps off the top rope, walks on Riker's chest, and does a moonsault onto Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler on the outside. Fucking beautiful. Isaiah Scott needs to be shown more on NXT. One of the positives of the 2-hour format, we see guys like Isaiah Scott, who I love, I think is phenomenal. Back in, Swerve made the tag to Fandango, super kick, cover broken up by the Sons. Fandango threw some rights, and we got chaos ensuing. Everyone was involved. Swerve and Blake were legal. Swerve with a huge super kick, almost looked like a back hook kick to, I believe it was Blake. And that was it. Breezango and Swerve win in about 10 minutes. This was awesome. Fun 6-man tag. It looks like Breezango back to their winning ways. And the Forgotten Sons, last time we seen them in the ring with Breezango, they got the win, which really didn't make any sense. But here Breezango got their win back, and they got the help from Isaiah Swerve Scott. Not sure why we had Scott take so long to get to TV. But I hope that we see him from now on and has a regular role on NXT. I think he's too good to just leave off the show. He was my initial pick in the breakout tournament to win that entire tournament. Then he got eliminated in the first round. Then we didn't see him. We seen Angel Garza and we seen Cameron Grimes show up on TV. So now that we're starting to see Isaiah Swerve Scott, everything's kind of coming full circle, and I'm glad to see him back on NXT TV. And after that match with Roddy, no reason why he should not be on TV. Leo Rush was introduced. He was in street clothes. He was doing commentary during a cruiserweight match between Jack Gallagher and Angel Garza. Before we got that match, Killian Dane stood by a fire. Pete Dunne, he says, "You tried to break my fingers. I am going to break you." And all you seen was this fire pit in front of him, and he's wrapping his fingers that Pete Dunne snapped a week before. Jack Gallagher versus Angel Garza. This one was very quick. This one was just there to establish Angel Garza as a potential next challenger for Lio Rush. If that's the case, take my money. That's going to be phenomenal. This one was pretty simple, very academic. Gallagher, if you looked, I know Gallagher does MMA, and I'm assuming that's from his MMA sparring and MMA fighting that he's been doing. He had, and it's very easy to see because he's pasty white like Sheamus, but he had bruises up and down his leg and his thigh. So that was pretty gruesome. But Gallagher here, again, very academic for Garza. Garza wins with a cabrata for a quick win in 4 minutes. After the match, Garza pointed at Rush and his belt. Rush stood up on commentary. They went back and forth with each other. This is probably going to be the next Cruiserweight Championship match that we see on NXT. Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox versus Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir. Winners get a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championships. This one was also very quick. I don't get the horsewomen, man. I really don't. Not only are they playing shadow to Shayna Baszler, they don't really have any identity of their own. They come out to Shayna's music. They are nothing more than Shayna's lackeys. They've done nothing to really get an opportunity at even getting a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championships. Neither have Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox. Dakota Kai got a win last week. Teagon Nox lost her second match back. So I don't really understand the logic behind this one. If this means that Asuka and Kairi Sane are getting back on NXT television, then I guess I can't really shit on it. That in itself is a victory. So looking at it in the grand scheme of things, if it gets Asuka and Kairi Sane back on television, then I'm okay with it. And the fact that we're getting Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox to challenge Asuka and Kairi Sane, that should be a great match. That is what I look forward to. That is what I expect. That's what I did expect from the NXT, or I should say the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. There are no challengers on the main roster. Those are dead titles. So for the simple fact that they are bringing them to NXT, yeah, we get a match like this out of it. We might get another match or two out of it, but how many teams legitimately are in the WWE to challenge whoever the tag team champions are? Not many. It just seems like a dead concept. It seems like WWE went about making these titles just for the sake of making them, just so that they could give the women yet another first in WWE. I'm not a big fan, never was a big fan. I am never going to be a fan of these titles. But if we're going to get matches like this that we're getting next week, I guess I should shut my mouth for the time being. Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox, they win in 3 minutes. Jessamyn Duke looks awful. I'm going to be honest with you. Marina Shafir looks like she's coming along a lot quicker than Jessamyn Duke. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's her look. Again, they don't have any identity. She's not really all that fluid in the ring. She looks very sloppy. She looks like she's just in there doing the bare minimum to get by. Though Marina Shafir looked like she actually was coming along quite nicely. Obviously, Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox were the right winners here. No way would I want to see Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir go against Asuka and Kairi Sane. This is a match that is NXT worthy. I always said, and I mentioned this when the Moronics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, were tag team champions. You can't have them as tag team champions and then boast that, yeah, they could go on Raw, they could go on SmackDown, they could go on NXT and defend those women's tag team titles. I cannot see them on NXT defending those titles against a far superior women's division. I mentioned, and this is the only way you can gauge this. If you look at the Idiotics as tag team champions when they were having their reign of terror on the main roster, I asked and I posed the question, if you have these women as tag team champions, could you see them on a takeover, delivering a takeover-like quality match? The answer is no. The answer is no. There's no way anybody would buy that. There's no way that anybody would want to see that. They would be so out of place on a takeover. It would actually bring the takeover show down. That's not what takeover's about. You get those championships on a team that is takeover ready, that is takeover worthy. That's why everybody loved Sasha and Bayley as the women's tag team champions. Now that we got Asuka and Kairi Sane, who are beloved in NXT, it makes sense. It makes sense for the time being. This is going to be awesome. Dakota Kai and Teagon Nox will challenge Asuka and Kairi Sane for the tag team championships next week. Nox and Kai celebrated, and then the Kabuki Warriors showed up on the big screen and taunted them, mostly in Japanese, until Kairi Sane said, "See you next week. You have no chance." So I think it's going to be great. Can't wait to see what happens. Now on to the main event, man. Triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship. Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic versus Roderick Strong. I love the fact that throughout the show, NXT gave you little vignettes with Roddy, with Keith Lee, and Dominik Dijakovic going over how important this match is, really putting over the big fight feel that it had, and going over the match and giving prestige to the North American Championship. Roddy says, obviously, he's going to keep the prophecy of Undisputed Era alive and well. Keith Lee stating that this is all he's ever wanted, was an opportunity in NXT, and now that he's finally got it, he's not going to let it go by. Dominik Dijakovic mentioned his injury. He was on his way to being great in NXT, then an injury derailed him. He made 2 promises: to be the best and win championships for his family. So he's going to win a championship, and he's going to do it for his family here tonight. So I loved the vignettes that they showed, just making this match feel really, really big and really special for the North American Championship. So, as soon as the bell rang, Roddy was fucked. Roddy went to the floor. Lee and Dominik Dijakovic surrounded him. Strong nails Dijakovic. He comes off running away at the end of this thing. He went into the ring. So, they're in the ring. Keith Lee pounces Roddy completely out of the match. Dijakovic ends up with Lee in the ring, and we pick up right where we were last week. Lee comes back with a big choke slam. Strong jumps at Lee after the pounce. Lee sends him back out to the floor. Lee goes to work on Dijakovic in the corner, and they go back and forth for a little bit, like I said, picking up from where they were last week. Fast forwarding a little bit, man, there's no way I can do this match justice. There is absolutely no way I can do this match justice. So, fast forwarding a little bit, we got Dijakovic going up top. He comes back down to the apron. Dijakovic runs for a cannonball from the apron. Lee catches him, and he's hanging upside down. Lee goes for a powerbomb, lifts Dijakovic up in a powerbomb. Roddy runs the ropes, hits a wrecking ball dropkick on Keith Lee, and in the same motion, Dijakovic in the powerbomb position, almost like a seated senton on top of Keith Lee on the ramp, which looked great. So, Dijakovic gets back up. He brings Strong back into the ring. Dijakovic and Strong going at it. Takes him to the top. Fans are going crazy at this point. They were completely invested in this match all the way through. Dijakovic climbs up with Roderick Strong. Lee comes from behind with forearms to Dijakovic. Lee interrupts the superplex attempt and goes to powerbomb Dijakovic to the mat. Now, this was one of the scariest moments in NXT all year. We got a Tower of Doom spot where Dominik Dijakovic is on the top, getting ready to superplex Roderick Strong, and Keith Lee is underneath, looking to powerbomb both of them mid-suplex. Now, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if it was someone up top losing balance. I don't know if it was positioning. But the way Dijakovic lifted Roderick Strong, it looked like he was struggling to get Roderick Strong up, and he was about to drop Roddy straight down on his head. And the simple fact that Keith Lee made the save, it looked like he saved Roderick Strong's life. Roderick Strong's career could have been ended on NXT last night. In mid-powerbomb, Keith Lee did whatever he could mid-stride to give Roddy enough room to fall, because they were so close to the turnbuckle that if the move was executed the way that they were planning on doing it, somebody was going to get killed. So Keith Lee, in his right sense of mind, gave himself enough room to back away and let the move play out, and he landed on the outside. It was, you got to go back and watch it. I'm not even doing it justice describing it, but it was a situation where there was not enough room for them to execute the move, and if it was executed in the way that they were trying to do it, somebody was going to get killed. So Keith Lee saved everybody in this situation, and that was it. So Crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." Morrow's going crazy. Dijakovic gets knocked to the floor by Strong. Strong and Lee in the ring now. Strong with a big Olympic slam. Shout out to Kurt Angle, who will be at House of Glory in November. Olympic slam on Lee for 2. Back and forth between all three now. Strong with a big drop kick through the ropes. He gets caught. Lee launches Strong into Dijakovic for a big feast your eyes on the floor. Lee follows up with a big pounce. Lee and Dijakovic look at each other outside, and I thought they were going to congratulate themselves on taking out the champ, and I thought they were going to double team the champ. You know what these two beasts did? They left the champ on the outside, and they were like, "Let's do this." They got back in the ring. They left the champ on the, which I don't know if it's a good move. Can't leave the champ all by himself. Keep on the champ. But these guys are so obsessed with getting one up on each other, they left Roderick Strong on the outside, and they looked at each other, "Let's do it." And they both got back in the ring willingly, and they went at it again in the ring. Crowd is going crazy. So they're in the ring. They're unloading shots on each other. Lee with some big strikes and a headbutt. Lee goes to the top, but Dijakovic gets free, nails a super kick and a cyclone kick. Dijakovic keeps control, hits a big choke slam off the top rope. A sit-out choke slam. It looked like a sit-out choke slam / powerbomb on Keith Lee. The impact of this move was so fucking beautiful, man. I legitimately, on my DVR, had to rewind it about 3 or 4 different times, man. The impact and the bounce of Keith Lee on the mat, man. A thing of beauty. Unbelievable. That was not enough to put Keith Lee away. Dijakovic breaks out of a big move to Roddy. As he comes in, Lee avoids it. Lee nails a massive tope con hero over the top rope, and he cleared every bit of that rope, man. To see someone like Keith Lee fucking do a tope con hero over the top rope, man. At this point, I'm like, this is the best fucking triple threat match of the entire year. The best triple threat match of the year, man. I had legitimate fucking chills watching this match. Huge tope con hero to the floor. Crowd is going crazy. Holy shit chants. This is awesome. Fight forever. You name it. Lee brings it back into the ring. Ends up top with Dijakovic. Lee blocks a hurricanrana with a huge sit-out powerbomb. He went for his finishing move off the top rope. Strong immediately follows with a huge flying boot right to Lee's face. Dominik Dijakovic was knocked out due to the powerbomb. Roddy picked his spots. That's why I said you can't leave the champ all by himself on the outside. Take care of your shit, but take the champ out. Lee and Dominik Dijakovic beat themselves because they left Roddy on the outside. He comes in, big flying boot to Lee's face, and that was it. He steals. Not only steals a victory, I shouldn't even say steals a victory. Roddy outsmarted everybody. Lee and Dominik Dijakovic beat themselves. Roderick Strong retains the North American Championship. I wish the Dream, the Velveteen Dream, a quick recovery, but I don't think that Roddy and the Velveteen Dream would have been half as good as what we've seen here. This was awesome. This was a quintessential perfect NXT main event. And we're not done. After the match, Strong wins the championship, or he retains the championship, like I said. Undisputed Era comes out to the ring, and they join him. Undisputed Era is putting the boots to Keith Lee. Fans are chanting, "We want Balor." Undisputed Era is in the ring beating up Keith Lee, and then they are interrupted by Tommaso Ciampa's music. We see a new Titantron or big screen video of Tommaso Ciampa. They now incorporated his face into the breaking of the glass on his entrance package. Tommaso Ciampa comes out dragging a crutch. So all 4 of them are standing in the ring with their championships, and they're looking at Tommaso Ciampa drag his crutch to the ring. He enters the ring, stares them down. Crutch in hand. Fans are chanting, "Daddy's home." Ciampa steps up to Adam Cole. Now we got Johnny Gargano out next to help his friend against Undisputed Era. Fans are chanting DIY. They say something to one another, both Ciampa and Gargano, and they stand next to each other, waiting to do battle with the Undisputed Era. Out comes Finn Balor. Now we're 3 against 4. Who's going to be the 4th? Is there going to be a 4th? Balor stands side by side with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Finn Balor standing there on both sides is Ciampa and Gargano. Balor goes to take his jacket off. Fans are going crazy. And out of nowhere, an overhead kick to Johnny Gargano. And the crowd absolutely stunned at this point. Morrow sold it beautifully. Why? And the brilliance of Triple H came into play. We heard it last week by Balor himself in a small video package. They mentioned it on commentary tonight. We're going to see Balor. Balor's going to talk about why he's back in NXT. His future will be his past. And that is the whole selling point. We all fell for it. It was unexpected. It was unpredictable. We all thought the future of Finn Balor is his past, meaning that his future is the past, meaning NXT. Little did we know! Triple H, you fucking genius, you! Balor's future is his past, meaning his New Japan roots. Heel Balor, heel Prince Devitt, back in NXT. It is absolutely fucking genius. Unpredictability at its finest. Appreciate it, because you rarely see it. Balor with an overhead kick to Johnny Gargano. Morrow's going crazy. Fans are booing. Undisputed Era. Adam Cole standing there smiling as if he didn't know what was happening. You gotta love the prick-like smile of Adam Cole. Fish and O'Reilly hold Ciampa as Cole drops him with a last shot. Gargano on the outside now after that overhead kick. He's leaning against the barricade. Balor leaning over the ropes, looking at the work he did on Gargano, leaves the ring, goes to the outside, takes his jacket off again, because he put his jacket on again after he fucking turned on everybody, like the dick he is, put his jacket back on, went outside, took his jacket back off, and did a missile drop kick to Gargano that leveled the barricade and everybody sitting in front row. Obviously plants, but he leveled Gargano with a drop kick so devastating that it leveled the barricade and everybody sitting front row in that area. It was awesome. So, after the dropkick, Balor brings Gargano over to the ramp and spikes his head with a 1916 right on the ramp. It looked brutal. And then on WWE.com, they showed the extra footage from whatever happened last night that Gargano was being loaded onto a gurney and into an ambulance, and they drove him to the medical facility, which you guys can see on WWE's YouTube channel. Balor standing over Gargano, and Undisputed Era at this point is in the ring doing the Undisputed Era hand signal. All four of them. And they're waiting for Balor to do it. Balor stands over Gargano, and he points the guns at Gargano. He does not give the Undisputed Era hand gesture back to Adam Cole. And that's the way the show goes off the air. I love it. This was absolutely fucking brilliant. Everything about this. The last 30 minutes of NXT was absolutely fucking the best 30 minutes of NXT all year. I loved every minute of it. And that Balor heel turn was a fucking thing of beauty. 3 years this man was on the main roster, and they did not get it right. They fucked up every aspect of this guy on the main roster. From the Demon to how Balor is when he's not the Demon. Smiley Finn. He was a smiling underwear model on the main roster. Now that he's back in NXT, showed up as a babyface for 3 years. Especially for the last better part of a year and a half. We've all said Balor's got to turn heel. Balor's got to join the OC. Fuck the OC. The OC are a bunch of losers. Styles is portrayed as a loser. Gallows and Anderson are losers. Why would you want Balor to just join a loser group and turn heel? It's not going to give him the same effect. He's going to be a loser by association. They would never get it right. Balor now in NXT has done something that we've wanted him to do for the last year and a half, 2 years on the main roster. He's done absolutely nothing as a babyface. Turn the man heel. They refused to do it. They had no direction for him. Now on NXT, Balor has been presented and portrayed better than he's been on the main roster in 3 years, in just 2 weeks, in just 2 appearances. This guy is back in NXT, and Triple H has got it right. It makes you think. It really does. that Triple H has no say on anything main roster. Even with his bread and butter. Even with those who come out of NXT. That he's so fond of and so high of. He has no control over what happens with them on the main roster. But when he gets them back in a situation like this, he's going to do what the fans have been wanting and the fans have been uttering for all these years. Look at what he did. In 2 appearances, Balor is back to being the Balor that we know and want. A heel Balor that has legitimacy and has intensity and isn't smiling and isn't coming out with the fucking Kevin Dunn crotch shot as he makes his ring entrance. This was beautiful. This was absolutely beautiful. And where we go from here, I mentioned we got WarGames. WarGames is happening with the women. I am fairly certain of that. But what else do we got at WarGames? Do you guys remember when we had Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black at WarGames? How fucking phenomenal that match was after Gargano had revealed himself to be the attacker of Aleister Black. That match was fucking one of the best matches in WWE that entire year. And now we're getting a possible Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor match at WarGames. I mean, fucking take all my money. A heel Balor versus a Johnny Gargano at WarGames? How the fuck can you not be excited about that? How can you not be excited about that? Why did he turn heel? Because he's done everything as a babyface. I don't want to see the same Finn Balor that I seen on the main roster for 3 years. Change it up. Do something different. Take a risk. That's exactly what they did. There's no better man in the industry to turn heel on than Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano had nothing going on for himself. Coming out of his loss to Adam Cole, he was doing nothing. He was doing nothing. He was in fucking matches with Shane Thorne on NXT. This is brilliant. It gives Johnny something to do while helping out Tommaso Ciampa achieve his dream of getting Goldie back. Now Finn Balor is in the way. This is brilliant. Where Gargano had nothing to do, now he's in the middle of a match that everybody can't wait to see. This fills that void. It gives Johnny something to do. It puts struggle on Tommaso Ciampa where he thought it was going to be easy because he had Finn Balor back and Johnny Gargano was there. Now, the wild card in this thing is not around anymore. Now it's 2 against 5. Possibly. It gives Johnny something to do, whereas he didn't have anything to do. And instead of automatically assuming that Ciampa's going to get Adam Cole and win the championship, it's not going to be that easy. Yeah, he's getting Goldie back. We all know that's the end result, but we don't know when. So they set up what I think is going to be an incredible fucking ride with a core of 8 guys here. 7 guys. I don't know who else is going to be added. Maybe somebody else. I don't know. But 7 guys here. That is just must-see television. When we all thought Triple H was not really signaling the flags of war against AEW. Patience is a virtue. Don't worry, my sons. I got you. We're going to go through a couple weeks where I'm not really going to give a shit about what happens because in the end, NXT is about one thing and one thing only, and we do it better than anybody. Long-term storytelling. Took a couple weeks for us to be, man, the spark is gone. What is happening? They're losing. They feel defeated. I don't know if this is going to work. This show was brilliant. Triple H is back. Triple H, again, wanted everybody to remain patient, and he just unloaded the fucking cannons last night on NXT. And I couldn't be happy about what happened. I am so fucking excited to see what is happening, man. This has me written all over. Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor. I can't fucking wait to see what those 2 guys do at WarGames. We might get Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa. WarGames, where I said just a couple weeks ago, I said it last week, we might not even have anything built up for WarGames. And here, after this show, we possibly have 3 matches for WarGames. Gargano versus Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa versus Adam Cole, and the WarGames match with the women that I set up. Could possibly be that. It could be a variation of that, whatever. But after last night, we have 3 potential WarGames matches that I can't wait to see. I'm super excited, man. This is awesome. That heel turn was brilliant. The last 30 minutes was great. Gargano has something to do now. He's got something meaningful to do. I don't know how anybody could shit on this. This was awesome. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for all your support here on the podcast. If you enjoyed what I said here and you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Check out all the other videos that you might have missed all week. Off the Script this weekend. Monday Night Raw, Off the Script Elite, AEW Dynamite. All linked down below in the description of this very video. And I'll see you guys right back here on the channel for SmackDown on Fox. Oh, man, I was feeling so good about wrestling, and now I got to think about fucking SmackDown on Friday night. Jesus Christ. Anyway, guys, I'll see you right back here for SmackDown on Friday, and then a brand new episode this weekend of Off the Script. Until then, take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you on Friday for SmackDown.